Shalom, Ka'ala Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahshai, Ba'Shem Kokodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, with the house of David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today were known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, we were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to go ahead and talk about Belarus and what's going on over there militarily, and how that is simply a shadow of what's to come for Babylon the Great. But let's read this first. This is Joel 3:2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered amongst the nations and parted my lands. So let's read this article. It says, Belarusians begin to receive summonses to military enlistment offices in mass. Okay? So there's a draft going on over in Belarus. It says, Belarus has started sending out mass summonses ordering people to attend military enlistment offices and without specifying any reasons. Belarusians are complaining that summonses have been sent to those who work and those who are on unpaid leave, and even to those who are unfit for military service. Now, before I read on, let me go ahead and explain what Belarus is and who they are, right? First of all, Belarus is right here, okay? It's right next to Russia, and it's right above Ukraine. Now, they are pretty much the one of the poorest countries in Europe, and one thing that makes them stand out is that they're the only European country that is basically still a dictatorship, right? They're still under one man who reigns supreme over them, and that particular man is famous for pretty much spilling the beans on Russia's invasion plans on Moldova, which is down here, right? Basically showing that Russia isn't only going to invade Ukraine, but after that he's going to go through Moldova. And the reason is, and then also I think Romania and Belgrade, and the reason is because they ultimately want to cut off the Black Sea to the European powers, NATO, right? Basically the beast described in the book of Revelation, right? That's what they're trying to do. Now, that being said, let's watch the dictator of Belarus spill the beans.
Lukashenko arrived with two props, a large map of Eastern Europe and a pointing stick. The whole thing looks straight out of Hollywood, but we are not going to focus on the theatrics. We are focusing on Lukashenko's map. Take a look.
Атомная станция – это страшнее ядерного оружия. Торрент-2, которые мы новые закупили, называют точки. Они, наверное, не секретные для натовцев, они все видят. Мы поставим С-400, который будет находиться чуть западнее Минска. Тысячи раненых прибыли в Гомель. Кричат наши беглые и прочее.
There you go. Also, another thing too, like I said, Belarus, besides it being one of the poorest countries in Europe, it's also, since the 90s, have become fairly friendly with Russia. This is why the Russian invasion has actually also come from the top of Ukraine, which is from Belarus, right? Which you can see here, right? This is Belarus, and you see the invasion that has taken place from within their borders. Again, it says Russian troops in hotels, Russian military and basically vehicles, Russian planes and helicopters. So pretty much Belarus is on Russia's side, even though they haven't officially declared their army, or they haven't moved their army into the Ukraine. But again, with the draft that they're pushing now, that's more likely going to change fairly soon. But let's read this so that way you have a political understanding of where Belarus stands. It says, while everyone's attention is focused on the dramatic events unfolding in Ukraine, the West should not forget that the Kremlin is currently waging two wars, one in Ukraine and another in Belarus, though by different means. Whereas Ukraine is presently under military attack from Russia, Belarus is being softly occupied without the Kremlin having to fire a single shot. Even if Putin does not succeed in overtaking Ukraine, it can be argued that Belarus under President Alexander Lukashenko is quickly turning into an extension of Russian territory. It is crucial that Lukashenko's regime be not equated to the rest of Belarus, and that the pro-democratic Belarusian movement and its anti-war efforts be supported by the West. Russia has been developing very close political, economic, and military ties in Belarus since the early 1990s, right? I think in 1996 they signed like an official partnership with Russia, I believe. Russia's major interests in Belarus are twofold. First, Belarus is important for Russia in economic terms, as it serves as a transit route for over 20% of Russia's energy exports in or to the EU. Second, Belarus is crucial to Russia's security policy. Belarus is the shortest way to Russia's Kaliningrad Oblast through the so-called Suwalki Corridor, a 65-mile-long strip of land on the Polish-Lithuanian border that provides the Russians with access to the Baltic Sea, but is not under Russian control. Belarus also has a long border with Ukraine and has recently served as a launching pad for Russia's expansion policy in the region. Basically, they allowed Russia to attack Ukraine from their borders. But back to let's get back to here. I want you to kind of just read what we're going to read an account of some of these Belarusian citizens, because again, what I just read kind of explains what's happening, right? The dictator of Belarus, he's pretty much on the side of Russia, but the people have been Europeanized, right? They've been leaning towards the West, right? They're leaning towards Esau. Esau is a beast system, right? Because even these people, they're Edomites, man. These are Edomites from a different side, and they're kind of just leaning. The people are leaning towards the West, and the dictatorship government is leaning towards the East. Okay, and here is an account of what happened to one of them, right, or to a few of them, as far as getting these draft requests. According to the report, notices are being served even to people who were previously deemed unfit for service. The notice arrived at work by fax. The original didn't get to my home address, a Minsk reservist told Zerkalo. There were around 10 of us there, and we were called in for individual meetings with someone from the regiment we're attached to, I think. Our personal information was verified, photos compared. They checked if we were still had the same shoe and clothing size, right? Because they're making them uniforms. Confirmed our military specialties. Belarusian enlistment officers denied this campaign has anything to do with the war in Ukraine and said it all is related to exercises and territorial defense training, which is a bunch of BS. These people are getting ready for war. And why is that? Because Russia has asked them to help. Okay? And the thing is that the reason why I read all this and I've gone into all these things about Belarus, which again, for the most part, it's an Edomite country, just like Ukraine, just like Russia. But the thing is that now we're starting to see the drafts take place in Europe, right? But guess where else we're going to start seeing drafts take place too? Let's read this. Every branch of the military is struggling to make its 2022 recruiting goals, officials say. With a record low number of Americans eligible to serve, few of those willing to do it, this is the year we question the sustainability of the all-volunteer force, said an expert, right? And what does that mean? That means that they're going to start doing the drafts. So for all you Akim and Akwathiam out there, for all you 2/3 who you actually signed that military service agreement when you graduated from high school, well, they got your numbers. And what are they going to do? They're going to call you in, and what are they going to do? They're going to call you in, and they're going to check if we still had the same shoe and clothing size, confirmed our military specialties, right? They're gonna check your personal information was verified and photos compared, right? This is what's gonna happen. This is coming to America, right? Because what does the scripture say? I will gather all nations, right? See, the Lord is moving the chess piece, and eventually that chess piece that's gonna move over here in America is gonna be the draft, right? Because what does the scripture say? This is Joel 2:20. But I will remove far off from you the northern army, and I will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face towards the east sea and his hinder part towards the utmost sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he hath done great things, right? And this right here is talking about the American military, right? The Lord's going to cause something to happen to where America is going to pretty much deploy its military force over to Saudi Arabia. That's what is described here, right? When he says that he's going to drive him to a land barren and desolate, with his face towards the east sea and hinder parts towards the utmost sea. This is talking about Saudi Arabia, okay? And why do we say Saudi Arabia? Well, look at what's happening today. Saudi Arabia is a NATO ally, okay? Recently, the king of Saudi Arabia has started to talk to Biden, right? Now that Biden and the Biden administration has forgiven the king of Saudi Arabia for murdering that politician, or I'm sorry, that news reporter. I forgot his name, Khashoggi or something like that. But pretty much the king of Saudi Arabia had him killed because he was looking into things that were exposing the king of Saudi Arabia's ties to things he obviously didn't want to be tied to. Now, again, you see, so the Lord pretty much is going to soon require a military movement of the U.S. Army. But what does the scripture say, or what did this article say? Excuse me. That every branch of the military is struggling to make its 2022 recruitment goals, and the part here that's a point is saying is the year we question the sustainability of the all-volunteer force, right? Because they're pretty much saying that they could no longer maintain their military with a volunteer army. Okay. Pretty soon, it's going to be a drafted army that's going to be put on the lines, right? So for all the 2/3 out there, all these wicked Israelites, Negro, Latino, Native Americans, ones who haven't found God yet, you're going to more than likely get a summons to show up to your local recruitment office, man. And why is that? Well, that's because you signed up for service when you graduated high school. Right? And the crazy thing is over the last few years, the U.S. military, or I should say the Babylonian military, has lowered the standards to get into the military. I think they even lowered it now. You don't even have to be a graduate of high school. Okay, and the health requirements have gone way down now, man. So you see, we're coming to those times, Akim. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 33. The virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms, right? No men to marry. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed. Right? In the wars. You see that? These elites, not only are they going to depopulate the world by famine, by plagues, but they're going to do it by wars. Multiple wars, right? What wars are those? Well, let's talk about them, right? The war that's going to take place in Europe right now, it's Ukraine. The war that will eventually take place over China and Taiwan. The war that will eventually start between Iran and Israel, right? You got China and India. You got who else? You got Pakistan and India. You got, I think it's the who else is there? North Korea and America, right? And there's a few other ones, but I can't think of them off the top of my head, right? But you see, there's going to be many wars set upon the earth, and this is how the earth is going to be set on fire, right? And not literal fire, but spiritual fire, man. This whole place is going to be in an uproar when the Lord returns. Now, yeah, there's going to be some places on fire due to, bombings and forest fires and whatnot. But again, the world is going to be in a stage of total chaos, which is what the devil's job is to do, is to basically run this place into the ground by spreading chaos. Okay, and what you're seeing here is the result, or is a future prophecy that's going to be a result of that chaos, right? Which is going to be that many of the men that are out right now partying, thinking that things are going to go back to normal, thinking that the Bible's a joke, right? Many of them are going to perish in these wars, right? They're going to fall by the sword, as the scriptures say. So many so that the scripture, Isaiah 4:1, 7 women are going to be attached to one man. That's going to, come to pass, right? That the Lord is going to make a man more precious than fine gold. Okay? This is Isaiah 55:6. Seek ye Yahweh b'Shem Yashai while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Right? And that's what's going on, Akim. That's going on. If you stumbled upon this video and you've watched this, right now, the only way that you're going to be saved from the coming destruction that's going to fall upon the wicked, the 2/3, 2 out of every 3 Negro, Latino, and Native Americans, and anybody whose father's lineage goes back to that bloodline, then you got to seek the Lord. You got to seek this truth. Find out what's really going on. Find the true narrative of the world, right? And then, and only then, once you've shown yourself to be diligent in this truth and to, actually truly love the Lord by learning, by following his commandments, by knowing his name, by knowing what the Bible actually says, will the Lord give you mercy and save you for salvation instead of saving you for destruction. So hopefully this video was edifying, Akim. Until the next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh, b'Hashem, Yahushai, b'Hashem Rakal Kodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles, the elders, the great millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.